welcome back to Research Flow. I'm Issa Johnson, a co-host with Uli, and today we have a very special guest, Kranti Meher, and she got her bachelor's degree from University of Pune,
Yep.
and that's in India. And right now she's getting her PhD in biological sciences. So welcome, Kranti.
Thank you. Hello, everyone.
Hi. Hi, Kranti. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. How was your week?
It's good. Little less stressful.
That's good.
Stressful. Why did you have How's your semester going so far?
It's been good actually. Super busy, but then good.
That's good.
Anything special that happened or might happen in the future for this semester?
Well, I did give my entry seminar and then nothing. I'm just going to India in December, so I'm looking forward to that.
Wow. Okay, so you're from India. Where in India exactly?
I'm from this place called Pune, which is in Maharashtra. A lot of people don't know it, but it's near Mumbai. Mumbai
Okay,
is
the
a lot
capital.
more heard of.
No, the
Yeah.
capital is Delhi, right?
Yeah.
I don't,
You got
oh
it,
gosh,
good.
embarrassing. I say Mumbai was the capital. No, it's not the capital. I know it's Delhi.
Yes.
So you went to the university in the same city where you're from?
Yeah, actually, I'm a little away, like a city a little away from Pune, but then I kind of moved to Pune after my high school, so I've lived a long time in Pune.
And how will you describe your life growing on in India to anyone who is not from there?
Well, I think it's pretty normal. It's like any other, school-going girl or a teenager. It's super fun. I think it's super safe, I might add. But other than that, it's a pretty normal life, I think.
Nice.
Were you always into biology since you were a child?
Since I can remember, yes. I always loved studying biology, and I think a lot of my motivation also came from my grandfather. I think I'm here because of him. So yeah, I've always wanted to do biology.
And what is his name?
It's super difficult. It's Mansukh.
Mansukh.
That literally says happiness of your mind.
Oh wow.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Is he very smart? Did he study biology?
No.
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 Okay.
I think he just did his high school and then he got into LLB. But then back then people didn't study much in India, especially the community that I come from. So no, he didn't study a lot, but then he was a very modern man for his time.
Okay.
And what is LLB that you said?
It's a law degree, basically.
Oh,
Very
interesting.
cool.
And how many languages do you speak?
I speak Marathi, which is the state that I come from, Marwari, which is my own mother tongue, Hindi, English, and I know a little bit of a couple of other languages.
Oh, that's a lot.
Well, that's a perk of coming from India, which has like so many languages.
Yeah. Very awesome.
How many languages is the average for someone from India to speak?
3 at least.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And so when you decided I want to get into PhD, how was it? Like, did you apply to different universities in the US or you had your eyes on LSU?
No, so I started with applying. I shortlisted according to the research interest, my research interests, and then I applied to 3 in States, 1 in Canada, and 1 in Germany.
Oh, very nice.
Wow,
Yeah.
very, very nice. How far did you get into the process in the other countries?
I actually got through all of them.
Oh, nice.
I'm not bragging. but
Wow,
then,
not
yeah.
bragging, but no, that's impressive. That is very
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
And what made you decide for the US?
So US was always a dream. I wasn't really thrilled with Canada because it's so cold and I don't like cold.
Yes, I get it.
I was kind of confused between Germany and States, but then it's no brainer when you have United States as one of your options. So that's made me decide America.
Wow. How difficult it was to say no to the other 2 options that you had?
It was a little bit difficult, but then I spoke to one of my mentors and he really guided me well. So
Nice.
yeah, it really helped me.
During this process, now that you're here in LSU, do you ever think about why didn't I go to Germany? Why didn't I go to Canada or not?
Well, yes, I do. I very much do. I don't regret coming here though. Just like, what ifs? What
Right,
if I went there?
That makes sense.
So what was your research during your master's degree?
So I also worked on Drosophila in my master's, which I'm currently working on. It's the same model system. So I was working on oxidative stress in flies. Again, especially the larval stages of the flies.
How do you get interested in this?
Well, I was really interested in genetics, and the professor who was teaching genetics actually worked in flies. So he was working on oxidative stress. So I got in his lab, and then that's how I started working on flies actually.
Okay, and so was this in the brain of the Drosophila?
Yeah, so initially I started working on larvae itself, but
Okay.
then somehow I think we just got interested in the brain, in oxidative stress,
Nice.
and that's how I started working on brains. And that actually was one of the reasons why I got in this lab, because I already had experience
Nice.
of working on brains.
That's awesome. Yeah. So you work with something called neuroblasts.
Yes.
Which sounds fun and awesome, but I don't really know what they are.
Right.
Especially being like a plant biology person, do you want to explain kind of what neuroblasts are and what your research focuses in your PhD?
Right, sure. So the neuroblasts are basically neural stem cells. So we all have stem cells in our bodies, and I think most of us are familiar with. In flies, the neural stem cells are called as neuroblasts. And I'm currently working on figuring out this nucleolar stress in these neuroblasts.
Okay, very nice. So what is nucleolar stress and what causes it?
Yeah. So in layman's term, we have these machines making proteins, which are called as ribosomes, and these ribosomes are produced by this structure called as nucleolus. So any stress with this nucleolus is called as nucleolar stress.
Okay, very nice, very cool.
And how will you explain this amazing research to someone who has no idea about what it is in plain basic English? How will you explain what you do?
Right. So, like I said, the stress in the nucleolus is called nucleolar stress, and this nucleolar stress actually has medical importance in humans. And this nucleolar stress manifests as things called as ribosomopathies. We've all heard of Treacher-Collins syndrome, I think. So it's a genetic disorders. This nuclear stress is actually very important and plays an important role in the phenotype of these Treacher-Collins syndromes. So I'm trying to figure out, okay, what is happening and why is it happening?
Right.
But in flies.
In flies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how complex is the fly system compared to the human system? Do we have a lot of data on like nuclear stress in humans?
The system that I'm working on, the Treacher-Collins syndrome, we don't have much information. The primary reason being the gene that is mutated is actually, the mutation is lethal. So it's haploinsufficient. So that's why it's lethal. So whatever data that we have is from those manifestations which actually lead to the adult phenotypes. But then it's so important to study the the effect of this during embryogenesis, and you don't have access of that in humans.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So you can study that with flies. Flies are not that complex, and we can still study it in flies because we have about 70% homology in humans and flies. So you can still study a lot of basic biology in flies and then apply that in humans.
Nice. Okay, cool.
And how many days or how long is the fly's life cycle?
It's about 40 to 50 days.
So you raise them, or how's the process?
Yeah, so basically we have like different fly lines now. With these new technologies, you can introduce your gene of mutation, gene of interest, a lot of proteins and whatever. So we have different fly lines. We maintain them. We give them food every month.
What do they eat?
They love yeast.
Yeast?
Yeah. So
Okay.
basically, it's a lot of like cooking food. I think I cook more food for my flies than I do it for myself. So.
What do you mean?
You took them steak dinners and all that stuff?
How many times a day did you feed
So we have a few stocks in the incubator at 18 degrees, and temperature has a very large effect on their life cycle. So lower temperatures, they grow like a little slower, and with higher, their life cycle fastens. So we have few stocks at 18 degrees, so we feed them once a month, like give them fresh food, not feed them, we feed them every day, but then give them fresh food once a month, and then the ones on our bench tops, we feed them every 15 days. It's a lot of cooking.
Very nice. Yeah, that is a lot of cooking, a lot of
Yeah.
responsibility
Yeah.
to keep them alive.
Yeah.
Do you name them? Do they have names or no? That's too
We
personal.
technically name them after the genes or the mutations that we introduce in them.
That's cool.
That's cool.
What's your favorite kind of phenotype that you've seen in the Drosophila flies from your mutations?
Well, there's so many, you know.
Yeah,
They
it's
they
a hard
have curly
question.
wings. They have small hairs on their body.
Yeah.
There's just so many different eye colors, different body colors.
Do
Yeah.
you find them pretty?
Do I find them pretty? Sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Okay.
Sometimes I find them annoying when they just refuse to give me results.
I think everybody understands that.
And how big is your lab, the lab that you're in, and who's your PI?
Yeah, so I'm working in Dr. DeMario's lab. There are 3 grad students currently. Where I think we will be hiring more in near future. We have about 8 or 9 undergrads, so it's a pretty big team.
Nice. Yeah, that's a big
How many
lab.
are yours?
In
your lab?
mine?
Undergrad?
Oh, probably around that number. I think right now it's a little bit less because some of our really good undergrads graduated last year. And so I think we have like 5 or 6. But yeah, they're really good for when doing work that it's like very rote and you have to do it a lot of times, and usually I get bored with it.
Do you think that any of your undergrad student might wanted to stay in the lab as a graduate student?
That's happened, right? In the
Yeah,
department.
it's common?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's common, but I think it's definitely happened before. And I think that's a really good way to get into science. If you really want to like get a PhD and don't really know what you want to do, just like be an undergrad in a lab.
Right.
And maybe see if the PI would be like okay with you sticking around and doing a PhD. Usually if you do good work, they're like, yeah, sure,
Yeah.
why not? So,
You also like, you know, you've already done half of your stuff in your bachelor's, so
Yeah.
you're just carrying forward that research in your master's.
yeah, exactly. And you already have
Easier.
experience
Yeah.
and know the
You
lab
know the
dynamics.
lab, you know the PI,
Yeah.
you know
Yes.
yeah, that's interesting.
Mhm.
When you were in India, did you ever consider just continuing your PhD there, or it was always a dream of you to go out?
No, I always wanted to go out, so I never considered doing PhD in India. I was working there, but then never thought of doing PhD in India.
Was your family supportive of you wanting to leave India?
Oh yes, absolutely. I've been blessed that way. I have a really supportive family.
That's wonderful. Nice. Very good. It is a very challenging time for a lot of people. How have you kind of coped with the stress and just kind of dealt with, being very hard at work? Like, what are some things that you do to manage stress?
Right. So as we were talking earlier, I sleep a lot. That's one way to
Yes, we did.
for me to
talk about
relieve
that.
all of my stress. So I sleep a lot. I actually tell everybody to just go home and take sleep on it. It really helps you. Other than that, I try just to make myself rejuvenated every week to get started on Monday. I just try to relax on weekends, not do anything. Watch. Nowadays, I'm watching Grey's Anatomy on repeat. So
Very
just
nice.
Watch.
I've never seen it.
That would stress me out a lot. Well, I guess you're into more of the medical biology
Yeah.
kind of stuff. Yeah, that makes sense. You never seen it?
Never.
It's pretty good.
It's
It's
amazing.
interesting.
I have never seen that. I have never seen Vikings, Game of Thrones.
I
have
haven't
never
watched those
seen.
either.
I like Game of Thrones.
What
I
is the
think it's
other
fun.
one?
I think it's fun.
The movie that they fight in the universe.
Star Wars.
I have never seen it.
Yeah.
Star Wars.
I haven't either.
I don't know.
One of the universe fighters.
Yeah.
The universe
Yeah, I don't-
battle.
I don't-
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So Grey's Anatomy, any other TV shows, movies?
I watch Modern Family a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Queen.
I'm more of a rom-com, like more of a comedy person. I can't watch stressful things. I like to just
Yeah.
look at things, laugh about it, and go to sleep.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't want to be stressed about watching something.
Yes, my kind of gal. That makes sense. So, do you have a lot of relationships that you rely on during your PhD journey, like friendships that you rely on for stress management? Talk about like your research, stuff like that.
Yes, I do. I have been blessed with a bunch of people here who are really nice and supportive, and you can actually go to and talk to. And it's so important to have people who actually know what you're going through, who can relate
Yes.
to. So, yes, I have been blessed that way.
Mm-hmm.
How will you describe your friendships? Like, what do you value the most in a friendship?
All right. I am like I talk about myself when I say this. I'm somebody who cannot constantly text or call people. Like I am not that person. So I really value that people know that I am this way and like are not complaining about, okay, why isn't she texting or calling me? So I really appreciate that about all of my friendships, that they give me my space.
How do you think your friend will describe you in 3 words?
Oh, I think you should ask them that question.
Okay,
Valid.
that's
I
valid.
mean, you're a friend of mine. How would you describe me?
Oh gosh. Okay, I wasn't expecting this.
See,
Thank
we
you.
put her
Okay,
on the
let's
spot,
see.
and now
Yes,
we're on the
now you
spot.
put me on the spot. I think that you're very eloquent. I think that you're very elegant. I think that like some people, they dress very elegant, and other people's are very elegant. I don't know if that makes sense.
They are elegant. They don't have to dress it.
Exactly,
To be it.
and I think you are that kind
Aw,
of person.
thank
You
you so
actually you
much.
do both, and I really love, like we were just talking the other day, that you, when you did the entrance seminar, how confident you are is just amazing. So I would
Thank
say
you.
eloquent, elegant, and what was the last one I say? Yeah, okay, I forgot.
Intelligent.
Yes, very intelligent.
Yeah, because we both saw, for those of you who don't know, we both saw your entrance seminar. Great. It did
Thank
really,
you
really
so
well.
much. So did you.
Thank you. Oh,
Yeah,
shucks.
it was
Here.
the same day.
Yeah.
They did
It
the
was
same
so,
day.
yeah, we had the same exact time
Yes.
slot. Very fun.
That was a really good seminar because
Yeah.
they were like 2 different topics, like very different from each other, but
Yeah.
so interesting. And the way that you guys manage and how do
Yeah.
you answer the questions and how you carry yourself, I was like, wow.
But you know
Yeah,
what? Both
so
of them
proud
were
of that.
about stress.
Yes, exactly. I think that's
So,
fun, but completely different organisms, completely different like organs in the like brains. I mean, plants don't have brains, obviously. So, yeah, it was very different, but I think it was
I have a question.
fun.
How did you prepare for the intro seminar?
How did you prepare for
How
the
did I
entrance?
prepare for entry? A lot of crying, a lot of bickering about how I'm not prepared.
Yeah, I mean, you're telling the truth, man.
But then, I have been blessed with an extremely kind and understanding PI.
Wow. Good.
So he is really he gives us so much confidence. He always, before any seminar, he always says, "It's your story. Just go and tell a story. Enjoy your talk." And I think that helps a lot.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Yeah.
That's
That is really nice. Yeah. So how important is it in having a good relationship with your PI for your PhD success?
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't be lying if I said I chose this lab just because of my PI.
Nice.
I mean, the first time I spoke to him, there's just something about him that he's so humble, he's so kind, so understanding. You spend 5-6 years of your life just being in that one lab all the freaking time. I mean, we are technically living here, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's so important for you to have a PI who's not sitting in your head and be like, you know what, I need this to be done today. I can't work that way. I need my own space to grow, to learn, to do mistakes, and then not be yelled at. And he's just that.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good.
I don't think that I could take. I don't know how I will react if my PI yells at me.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Like, I don't know if I'll freeze, I'll cry. I don't know. What do you think I would do?
What you would do?
Uh-huh.
I think probably freeze and cry. I think that makes sense for you. That's what I would do. If I had a PI that was like ripping on me and was like, "You're not doing enough. This is really bad work. I'm really disappointed in you."
Yeah, no.
Girl, I cannot do that. You always need PIs that are.
Right.
They have to critique you. That
Of
is one of the
course.
things that they have to do. But the way they do it, I think matters a
Matters
ton.
a lot.
Yes. Exactly.
Okay, I have a question for the 3 of us, even for me.
Mhm.
So, let's say that we are doing interviews to come to LSU, and we are interviewed with different professors. They are working with the organism that we want to work, right? And we only have 3 questions to ask this PI to choose the one that we want to go with. 3
All right.
questions, and then you are like, he's or she's the one.
Well,
What will you ask? What will we ask?
We all
What
ask.
will we
Yes.
I have never thought about
Yeah,
this.
I need to
honestly.
think. They did something like like that, where we did interviews with a bunch of different PIs in the department, but they wasn't for like choosing a specific PI.
Yeah.
It was just to see kind of how the department works.
But this is for your PI, and this is the perfect PI for you based on the questions that you're going to ask.
I think for me, more than like me asking them a question, it would be more about how they actually take the entire interview and approach you as a PI. I think that's what speaks more volumes than, you know. I mean, I could definitely ask him what does he expect from me as a grad student.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
And then if he actually lists like a number of things from me, that would be a red flag for me. You know, as a PI, I would want him to say that I want you to learn and be a good researcher or be a good scientist.
Yeah.
Instead of saying,
I see.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I also agree. I think I need a PI that's a little bit more very supportive of me, because when I first started this, I came here out of undergrad and I had no idea what I was doing. So I think something that I would ask is, how many times are we meeting a week, and what do you expect from those meetings?
Right.
Because if they're like, oh yeah, we'll meet whenever you want, I can't do that.
Right.
That is no structure. I need structure, right?
Right.
If they're like, I want you to meet every week, and I want every week for you to have some type of update, even if everything went wrong, I want you to have some type of something. That's the kind of PI that I would
100%.
personally look for.
Right.
But that's just a me thing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? There's a lot of people, maybe you would fall in this camp, I don't know, but that would like want more, you know, lax
every 2
date.
weeks.
Once every 2 weeks, you're able to do stuff and be self-motivated, and you don't feel like you have to, you know, show your PI something that you
Right.
did.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I think that it's very important to ask the PI's mentorship style,
yes.
Yeah.
because I've been thinking a lot, like, for example, if you have 6 PhD students and you have, let's say, 3 master students and 11 undergrad students, how do you manage so many people with so many different personalities? I think that being a PI is difficult.
Yeah.
if you
Yeah,
think
so
about
literally.
it.
Yes, exactly.
Do you want to be a PI?
No.
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 Out the gate. Absolutely not.
What about you, Isa?
No, I'm so sorry. I mean, it'd be fun to be a PI at not an R1 university, I think. I think it would be fun to be a PI when you're working with basically undergrads and there's not so much of a pressure to like have a lot of grants and do a lot of publication.
Yeah.
Because my PI is a very successful scientist, but she works so hard, and I don't know if I could keep up
No.
with that personally.
Yeah.
You need to be very passionate, right?
Yes.
And
Right.
disciplined.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you think that being that successful, you need to compromise relationships in somehow, like family or friends? Like, I don't know. I need to talk to someone who is very successful. Maybe
Yeah.
we can interview your PI.
She wants to come on the podcast.
Oh,
She would
let's
be
make it
very
happen.
excited to
Dr.
do that.
Mahashi, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Dr. Mahashi, please come and talk with us. We have so many questions for successful scientists.
Yeah,
Yes, definitely.
You know what? When I first moved to LSU, I was like, yes, I want to be in academia. I want to have my own lab in the future, Dr. Reyes lab. Just dreaming. Right now, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how I
Yeah.
feel about that.
It's just too much work, and
Yeah.
you know, I want to go in industry. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you go to industry, what type of companies do you think that you might wanted to go? What kind of job will you be doing?
Mhm.
How do you picture yourself in industry?
Right. So I want to stick to being a researcher. I don't want to go into management, and I don't want to be documenting things.
Yeah.
I'm not that.
Yeah.
I want to keep doing research, but I want to do that in an industry. And I find myself. I think I would like to be in a role of like a scientist AAB. They have so many positions in all these pharma companies and biotech companies. So yeah.
So what would be the position, like the perfect job description that you would like to work on, like the type of research that you're really interested in, and exactly what you would be doing every day? What does that kind of look like for you?
You know, I have always said this, that I want to do a research that directly or indirectly impacts human health. So I know, I mean, all research technically impacts human health, but then more, especially after COVID, I feel like, you know, there's so much more we can do, and there is so many ways that you can actually directly impact human lives. So I want to be doing something like that. I have actually already worked with developing diagnostic tools and all of that.
Wow,
So yeah,
okay.
so I think I would like to continue doing that. I have a lot of plans for my future, career-wise. So let's see.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
very
That's
good.
great.
Nice.
Yes, good job. So I agree. Let's go all to industry. I'm just kidding. I told you before when I first moved here, I was like, yes, since I was in Honduras, like I'm going to the US, I'm going to learn English because I didn't speak English when I moved here. And then I knew that I wanted to learn English, do my master's degree, get a PhD, and eventually um, work as a professor, have my own lab. I never aspired like, oh, like a big university, R1 university. No, I'm okay with a small university, not in a big city, but close to a big city. I don't know. I have a specific requirements. But nowadays, I don't feel like that anymore. Like, I will say like now it's probably 50-50 that I'm still thinking like, what do I want to do? What is the best for me? Do I have what is need for this? Can I manage my own stress? And also when I think about, I will have so many students applying for a position in my lab. I don't know if I can say no. I don't know if it's just too much. So when you say that you want to go to industry, how familiar are you with the process of the paperwork? Like, okay, you finish your PhD and then you're applying. Um, I don't know if, okay, I'm more familiar with academia because it's very difficult if you are an international PI to apply for a specific grants, I think, or I hear about it. I don't really know about industry though, how different it is. Do you know anything about it?
No, and here especially not. I know things in India because, like I said, I've already worked in India for a couple of years, but I don't know how things go around here, especially as an international student. A student, if I were to work in an industry, I'm pretty sure it's overwhelming. So I just try to put away until I graduate.
That's good. And when you moved to the US from India, what was the biggest cultural shock that you had?
The TV shows and the movies have made it a lot easier to know and to expect a lot of things when you move, not only just United States, but across the globe nowadays. So I don't think there was a cultural shock as such, but then just a little bit of, like, for me especially, I come from a very safe city in India. You know, there have been days when I've roamed around at 3 o'clock in the morning alone, and I was never scared of being out alone. But here you can't do that, for obvious
You
reasons.
cannot.
Yes, so that was such a shock, that such a big country, but then the basic necessity of being safe is not there. So that was kind of a bit of shocker for me.
And in terms of education, how different is the academic s- style or like mentoring style from professors in India or the culture lab in India compared to the US?
It's very different, I would say. Yeah, in India, we are taught to take exams. We are taught to be good in academics. We don't have that liberty where we get to choose from different things that we want to do. I mean, nowadays it's changing. I wouldn't say it's not, but then, especially when I was growing up, we were told, okay, you are a good student only if you excel in academics. There were no other opportunities. I would say the one thing that I really appreciate about professors in States is, how they don't look down on you if you don't know anything. They are just so supportive. They will take it. They'll make you, especially my PI. You can do the silliest mistakes, and he'll be like, that's okay. I've done that. He doesn't make you feel bad about yourself, or and I think I've noticed that about like any other professor here. They're just so nice, and they try to help you be better, and I really like that here. But then in India, they teach you to be doctors and advocates, and that's good too. I feel like that helps too.
Is there anything that you can if you could bring from the mentorship style from India to the US? Anything that you were like, oh, I want to incorporate this?
In academics, I don't know. I think the teaching style back home is nice or a little better compared to here because uh, they're a lot stricter in terms of we need to finish this, you need to know this. That kind of puts a little pressure on you, and then you actually sit down and learn. Here, especially now that I'm teaching, I know that you can't say anything to students. You have to be so politically diplomatic. And they have, I don't think they realize the importance of actually learning all of this in the earlier years of their career. But then India, you have to do it, and at the time you don't feel like it's important, but then you realize later on that what, that helps.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you mentioned that you love sleeping
Yeah.
and relaxing on weekends. So you're TIing. You just passed the entrance seminar. Are you done with your classes, taking classes,
Yeah.
or are you taking classes?
No, I'm done.
Okay, so how do you manage your research, getting ready for the entrance seminar, and TIing? Because we know that undergrads can be a lot sometimes. They email you a lot. So how do you manage that?
They email us a lot, especially now that my spooky season is starting now. They're submitting their lab reports tomorrow, and that's my spooky season.
Gosh.
I think that I speak for all 12 OATs.
I agree. I agree. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It just happens.
It just happens.
I take one day at a time, honestly. I don't think about a lot in future. It's just like, I need to do this today. I'll get up, I'll get it done. That's it.
And how do you describe yourself as a TA?
Again, let's ask my students.
No,
about that.
yourself. Yourself.
I
Are you like a very tough? Are you like relaxed? Are you
I think I'm a
I don't
mixture
know.
of both. I tell this
discipline? Do you like?
No, I tell my students that too. See, if I see you make an effort, I'm going to go out of my way to help you. If I don't see you care, then I'm not going to care.
That's a good way to do it.
Wow.
Sounds really
I can't
Yeah.
care more than the students, right? Like,
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Do you have any student that you look at him or her and reminds you of yourself when you were an undergrad?
I actually do. I have one student.
Oh.
Yeah. She really tries, and she's really good. But then she really tries and she cares, and I feel like I was like that. I really cared because I really needed to do something in my life and prove myself. So, yeah.
That's really good. Okay.
Okay. Thank you for that. I love all of your answers.
Yes.
We're gonna move on to our next section where
Okay.
we're reading Reddit stories, and we want to get your opinion about
Yes.
this story. So, this one is posted by Esgi, and it's called "Anyone Happy with Friendships They Made in Grad School? Need Advice." I made the mistake of hanging out too often with people who constantly need approval and validation, leading to them starting up unnecessary drama. I left all the friends I used to hang out with my first year because all their snarky side comments, jabs taken at my self-esteem, and cliques forming within the friend group. A campus therapist told me a lot of the grad students who he got to know had high levels of self-absorbed qualities, which I am inclined to believe is at least partially true. Getting close to anyone makes me feel like it is a waste of time and that they will cause a distraction away from my research at this point. I'm generally social, and from the outside, it seems like I get along with everyone, but I don't hang out with anyone on the weekends beside my partner anymore. I used to go to so many parties last year, but I got really burnt out by the constant drama and gossip. Once I stopped showing up to one or two parties, I stopped getting invites. Do I keep trying to find good friends, or accept that good friends are a rarity in adulthood and maybe especially so in grad school?
Wow. That's a lot.
Yeah.
All right. Who are these self-absorbed grad students?
Yeah, I don't know
Every person that I
who-
meet, grad students, they have like the severe imposter syndrome.
Yes.
I don't think anybody's self-absorbed. Especially, I haven't met anyone here.
I haven't met a lot, especially here, that are very, very self-absorbed.
Yeah, I haven't
that don't want to listen to other people and need constant validation.
Yeah.
I don't think I've heard of a lot of people here, but
But I think seeking validation is different than being self-absorbed. Though,
That's true,
We
yeah.
all need validation from time to time that we're doing good, we're enough, we're trying our best.
Yeah, exactly. But that comes like you're not just like having these friendships just because you need this constant validation. I don't think any of my friends here have needed that.
No.
So what is he asking for?
It's asking for, do I keep trying to find good friends and accept that good friends are rare in adulthood?
I don't think. I mean, nobody who's actively seeking friends. You make friends along the way.
How do you make friends?
How did we become friends? You don't know that. It just happened, right?
Yeah.
You meet someone, you like
She's
them,
a
you
genius.
vibe with them. It's okay. You start hanging out. You meet someone, you don't like them. It doesn't mean that I hate them. It's just that I would not actively, hang out with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a fair point.
Yeah, I think that this person is saying that, do I keep trying to find good friends or accept that good friends are a rarity in adulthood? I actually disagree with that, and I'm going to tell you why. I think that when you reach, I don't know what adult is for you or for you or for me, like whatever you consider that you're an adult, I think that you get to a certain point in your life that you don't need to pretend anymore.
Yes.
It's just you. Hey, this is what I am. This is what you got. Do you like it? Do we vibe? We can be friends. Maybe sometimes you are not really sure and you start hanging with this person to see where everything goes and you try to go with the flow. Richard flow, I'm kidding. You try to go with the flow, but you get to a point that you don't need to fake. This is who you are. So for me, actually, making friends as an adult is way easier. For example, if Isa loves, let's say, something reggae music, and I don't like it, I don't need to pretend I love it. Oh my God, this band, I love it. No, I don't need to pretend. I can say that's not my thing. But if you're going to a show, I can come, enjoy, and learn a little bit. But I don't need to fake. I don't need to pretend. So that is something that I like as an adult now. And I think that what you said, I don't even know how we became friends either.
Yeah, I don't remember, to be quite honest.
Yeah, so maybe that's how. I mean, maybe this person can try Bumble BF. I mean, we're not.
Does that even work?
It works. I know people that have met people through Bumble BFF, and it's usually for people whenever they move to like a new city and they, their coworkers might not be people that would usually hang out with, and they don't really vibe a lot with them. I think that could be good, but I think you're right. Where adulthood, you just like stop pretending and you start looking for people that you actually have a genuine connection with. I think that's a very important distinction, because I think when you're younger you feel like this type of rejection that happens whenever a friend or something happens and they are like, if they don't vibe with you automatically, you're like, oh my gosh, I have to make them vibe with me. You don't have to do that now.
Make people like you.
Yes.
That's not there anymore when you grow up.
Yeah, exactly.
I think this person needs to stop expecting so much.
Okay, valid. Yeah.
I think they're expecting a lot from how their friends should or should not be.
Yeah.
It comes with the territory. I mean, every person has some ups and some downs. Some people need more validation than the others. But then that doesn't make them a bad friend or a bad person. It's just the way they are.
It's just the way they are, definitely. And I think that when talking about relationships, like relationships in general, like friends or romantic relationship, communicate, right? You need to communicate. And as you mentioned before, you're not the type of person that is going to be texting you, writing you every single day. But then you have friends that are okay with that. Maybe I'm needy French and I need to talk to you. Maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe you want to see your friend once a month. I don't know. So communication, I think is key. And I read the other day that when you are grad school, if you have a friend and you develop this friendship, the chances that this person are going to stay in your life forever are very high. They are going to become their aunts and uncles of your kids if you decide to have in the future, because we're going to be here for 6 years, at least 5.5. So taking care of those friendships, I think is very important. And I mean, I know you guys have amazing friends. I also have amazing friends. Yes.
Yeah, I think that's the beauty of having adult, like you said, relationships in general is, you know, everybody knows we're very clear in our heads of what we want in life, from everything in our lives. So I think that makes it a lot easier to actually find friends who align with
Yes.
your expectations from your own life and who
Yeah.
go along with that.
Yeah.
And that's why they stay longer, I feel like, because you know you're
Yes.
adults.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
There is no animosity anymore between friends, and there's no need to be like the constant likes, you know, and the need to fake things. You just you know you are who you are. You know what the other person is, and you're fine with that. Like you know,
I
even
love
if my
that.
friend is needy, I know that that person is needy, so I'll be there for them. Even if I'm not that person, but then
Yeah.
because my friend needs it, I'll be there for them.
Yeah.
So,
That's good.
but then
Yeah.
that's the beauty of it, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I love that. Okay, so any advice for anyone who is about to do the entrance seminar?
Yes, like my PI says, it's your story. Tell
Yes.
it. Nobody knows it better than you. Enjoy it. Sleep a lot before your seminar. You'll feel fresh.
Yes.
Yeah, practice. You know, we're all peers. Nobody's judging you. We all know how it is to actually stand in front of everybody and talk.
Right.
You know, it's easier for some, but it's not easy for most of us. Trust me. Even if you know, it says it doesn't show, but then we know what's happening inside us, right? Like your voices are screaming. There's something that constantly is telling you that you're not going to do good. You're going to fail. But then we all go through that, so it's okay. That's where the good friendships come in very handy, where you can actually talk and be like, hey, I think I'm gonna fail, and then the person be like, you know what, I felt the same, it's okay, you're gonna be fine.
Yes.
Yeah,
I love that.
I agree. I agree. I remember when I did mine, I was like, I was like, I don't see that I can do it. I don't see that I can do it. I was ready to go home, and then my friend that he was also a postdoc in the lab, and he was like, Uli, you're good. You
Yeah.
got this.
Yes.
You're not
Yes.
leaving. You are going to do this. Go to the bathroom, wash your face, and that's what I did, and everything was fine.
Yeah, you need friends like that. That is
Yeah.
definitely true.
Even if they laugh at you while
That's
you're
okay.
crying.
That's
It's okay.
okay.
It's part of it.
Yeah, that's completely fine.
Okay, so it was really nice having you with us today.
It was so amazing to actually be sitting with you too.
Yeah, I'm very happy.
Such a nice way
hear
to
you.
spend your weekend.
Yeah.
I know, right?
You're
Yeah.
not sleeping.
Well, I might go home and sleep.
Yeah.
That's a good plan.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for being here. This was amazing. I love having these conversations,
Me too.
especially with bright scientists like you. So
Well, scientists in the making.
yes, true. And for listening to this episode of Research Flow, whether you're listening on Spotify or YouTube, thank you so much for listening. Tell your friends if they are scientists, if they're not scientists, if they're interested in science, if they're not interested in science, if they want to know kind of more about the PhD journey and just science in general, please let them know. So thanks again. Bye.